Hi, I'm Towin. Before I begin, I wanted to apologize for the lack of challenge videos. I was busy with tests and a mouth injury, so I couldn't record as much as I would have liked to. However, they should return to the normal upload time. Anyways, back to the challenge. So last time I used Weedle, and even though it was brutal thanks to the poor moveset, it was surprisingly fun to see how far it got. This video's Pokemon doesn't have that issue, as today I'll try to answer the question: can I beat Pokemon Y2 challenge mode with only Poochyena? Poochyena has many things going for it. It has access to the move Taunt by level up, which allows to disable status moves, Sucker Punch as a strong priority move, and a couple of coverage moves. The downside, however, is that it's not that much stronger than Weedle. In terms of physical attack, he's no doubt stronger. And like I said, he has more moves to work with, but he's lower than Weedle and only 25 points higher in the base stat total. Still though, I have some expectations for this Pokemon since it's one that I really like. The rules for the challenge are simple. I can only use Poochyena for combat. I'll have other Pokemons for HMs, but I won't be allowed to use them for battle, except for special occasions. I'll get into that when the time comes. No items during battle, however, held items are okay. And finally, evasion moves, items, abilities, focus band, and the moves return and hidden power are banned. The last rule is more of a personal preference. With that out of the way, let's start the run. I start by using the universal Pokemon randomizer to replace Snivy for Poochyena. That way my rival would have Tepig, the hardest to fight in my opinion. I named him Knight. I just thought it fitted him. He has an adamant nature, so more attack and less special attack. Since Poochyena is a physical attacker, this nature is perfect for him. He also has the ability Quick Feet. When he's afflicted by a status condition, like poison or paralysis, his speed is raised by 50%. As an added effect, if he's paralyzed, not only does he get the boost, but he also ignores the speed drop from it. That's going to help a lot for Colress. The first rival fight was easy as always, but the second one took some tries. I can see not having that much speed being a problem for the future. Anyways, on the winning attempt, he used 2 tail whips when he could have KO'd me, and I also got a lucky crit. If I had that much trouble with Hugh, then I stand no chance against Cheren. So, I fight every trainer on the way, and I also train for a bit on Route 19 until I get to level 13. At that level, Poochyena learns Bite, his first stab move. It has 60 base power and a 30% chance of flinching the opponent. After learning it, I give Poochyena an Oranberry and try the Cheren fight. But because my attacks don't deal enough damage and my speed is way too low, I go down easily. So I get 2 more levels while also getting attack and speed EVs and try again. First, he sends Patrat. I know he likes to set up on the first turn with Work Up, so I take the chance and set up a Howl to raise my attack. Next turn, I use Bite and almost OHKO him while he sets up again. He heals with a potion and I take the chance to set up another Howl, so the next Bite OHKOs him. Afterwards is the Ace Lillipup. He sets up a Work Up and a Bite leaves him on the red, but he heals with his berry back to yellow. Next turn, he attacks with Tackle, activating my berry, and another Bite KOs him. Finally, speed up and a single Bite is enough to get me the win. I get to Virbank City and challenge Roxy immediately, but once again the problem is that Poochyena isn't strong or fast enough to even beat the Koffing. I get to level 21 and beat both the Koffing and Grimer, but Whirlipede is way too strong and can easily one-shoot me. So I train again, this time to level 24, and after equipping a Citrus Berry to Poochyena, I get this run. She leads with Koffing. I use Howl to raise my attack and she hits a Venoshock to do almost half. I use Bite the next turn to activate her berry and luckily she flinches. So the next turn, I can KO her. Grimer comes out and I know he likes to use Disable, so I set up with Howl again and she disables it. Next turn, I OHKO her thanks to the attack boost. Last is the Ace Whirlipede. She outspeeds and hits a Venoshock that activates my berry, while a Bite gets her to the red and also activates her berry. However, her Poison Point ability gets Poochyena poisoned, and thanks to Quick Feet, he now outspeeds her. So after a turn of Protect, a Bite defeats Roxy. Now that I've defeated Roxy, I can get to Castelia City, where I can finally get the Eviolite to boost Poochyena poor defenses. However, the next gym is a Bug type, and because Stark is weak to Bug moves, I preemptively train. At level 29, he learns Assurance, a move that doubles its power if the target has already received damage on that turn. I replace Sand Attack since I didn't plan on using it anyway. After that, I get 1 more level and challenge Berg. Now, while you watch me lose to Bird, I'll explain Assurance since I was also confused at the start. When I read the description of the move, I thought that it meant that if you took damage on that turn, Assurance added effect would activate, and since Poochyena is kinda slow, it will be a very useful move. However, that's not the case. See, the description says if the target was damaged on that turn, not if you were damaged. That makes this move practically useless for this type of challenges compared to Bite. Okay, now that I got that out of my system, I need to grind more. As you just saw, the furthest I could get was Livani, but as always, Poochyena is slow and weak. I get to level 35 and try again. He first sends his Swivel. A Bite does a lot, but he recovers some health with his parry. Luckily, I get a flinch. I take the chance next turn and set up a Howl while he uses Rock Polish to raise his speed. He outspeeds now and uses Struggle Block to do a bit of damage while I set up again. He hits again and another Bite KOs him. Carablast comes out and a boosted Bite OKOs him. Shelmet is next, but the same happens. Finally is the Ace Livani. He misses a Grass Whistle and I take the chance to use Bite. However, it's not a one-shot, and he heals a bit with his berry. Livani uses Struggle Block, but it doesn't KO me, so another Bite defeats Bird. The battle after with Golres wasn't a problem at all, but I just wanted to show how even though Poochyena was paralyzed, I was still outspeeding both Magnemite and Clank thanks to my ability. Elisa fight. She leads with Emolga and goes for Ball Switch to switch into Joltik. Because I knew she would do that, I took the chance to set up a Howl, so a Bite next turn OKOs her. Fluffy comes out and I set up another Howl while she paralyzes me, raising my speed. A Bite then also OKOs her. Emolga comes out again and thanks to the paralysis I outspeed. That's a sentence you don't hear often. Thanks to that, a single Bite one-shots her. Finally is Zebstrika, and even with the boost, he outspeeds. So he hits with a Volt Switch, leaving Poochyena with only 4 HP, and thanks to the Howls, a Bite can get me the win. There's the Heartbreaker Charles fight, but it was surprisingly easy. I one-shot the Sigilyph, two-shot the Tirtuga, and one-shot the Archen. On the way to Driftvale City, I remembered that I didn't get the TM for Dig on Route 4. I could have gotten it for the Electric Gym, and it probably would have made the fight easier, but like I said, I forgot, and I'm not restarting just because of that. I teach it immediately and replace Assurance. It proves useful against Clay. However, unlike Charles, I need to get more levels. The attack drop from Intimidate really hinders Poochyena, and his slow speed is again a problem. I get to level 45 where he learns Takedown. It does almost double the damage that Tackle does, but it can miss and it deals recoil. Not really sure how I feel about it, but we need more firepower. It's still not enough though. Krokorok now lowers my speed with Bulldoze, and on it deals too much damage. At level 49, Poochyena tries to learn Sucker Punch, a high power priority move that's also Dark type. It only works if the opponent uses an attacking move. Like Taunt, it may be useful in the future, but right now I don't want to get rid of any of my moves. Finally, at level 53, Poochyena learns Crunch. It's a stronger version of Bite, but instead of having a chance of flinching, it can lower the defense. I obviously replace Bite. I give Clay another try and get this run. First is his Krokorok. I use Howl to go back to my original attack and he luckily goes for Torment instead of Bulldoze. I then go for Takedown to get a one-shot. On it comes out and I use Crunch to do a ton of damage, while he raises his speed with Rock Polish. He outspeeds now and lands a Rock Slide to do a bit of damage while I go for Dig. Luckily, while I was underground, he used Explosion, and because of Dig, I received no damage. Sandslash is next. A Crunch leaves him on the red and he uses Bulldoze to lower my speed. I can't use Crunch again thanks to Torment, so I just go for Howl to raise my attack while he heals. He probably could have defeated me on the next turn, but he just went for Home Claws, so another Crunch can KO him. Finally is the Ace Excadrill and I thought the run was doomed. He outspeeds and has high attack. I get lucky however and Rock Slide leaves Poochyena with just 11 HP, so I go for Dig and get a one shot, getting me the 5th badge. With my high level, neither the PWT or the Plasma attack were a problem, so let's just go straight to the Flying Gym. Zubat is a one shot, but I usually take some damage since she outspeeds. Skarmory is another story though. She has Edge Scissor, a super effective move and agility to outspeed me. I have an idea though. I go back to the PWT to relearn Sucker Punch. The priority should help with the speed problem, so I replace Dig and try again. First is Zubat. Poochyena tanks an Energy Ball and sets up with Howl. Next turn, Subat gets OHKO'd by Sucker Punch. Skarmory is next, so I use Crunch to do like a third and she sets up an agility. Because she now outspeeds, I switch to Sucker Punch. It has the same base power, so it does the same as Crunch. She gets to the red and heals with her berry while she counters with Edge Scissor, leaving me at a quarter. Another Sucker Punch next turn KOs her. Next is Swanna, but it was an easy one-shot with Sucker Punch. Finally is Sigilyph, but with my last Sucker Punch, she also goes easily down. I get to Lentimas Town and go straight to the Sharp Move tutor to teach Poochyena Iron Tail. It's a 100 power Steel type move that has lower accuracy than Takedown, but it should be more useful overall, so I replace it. The rival fight after was pretty straightforward. Set up a Howl, one-shot the Unpheasant, two-shot the Emboar, and one-shot the Simipour. I actually lost the first time because Simipour can outspeed me and do massive damage with Scald. Afterwards is a double battle against Cinsoline. It was another easy battle, but what's funny is that at the start, Hugh's Emboar got frozen, and I think that's the first time I've seen a Pokemon get frozen in Gen 5. Now, this is where I will usually skip to the Dragon Gym, but on the way, I fought against the 1000 battles old guy, and because he has a Durant that resists all of my moves and a super effective Bug Bite, I go down pretty quickly. I tried the fight many times and still lose. I could go to Grind, or, just don't fight him and use Surf, but I don't want to give him the satisfaction. After a while, I get a run where his Durant misses so many attacks that by the time Lucario comes out, I'm almost at full health. I then defeat him with 3 crunches. Wasn't there a mandatory trainer with a Durant on Victory Road? Now it's a Dragon Gym. Drayden leads with Druddigon. I set up a Howl and he uses Rock Slide doing a third. I set up again and he uses a super effective Revenge that leaves Poochyena with only 1 HP. A Crunch next turn OHKOs him. Hatterus comes out and I have to use Sucker Punch since he outspeeds. It's also a one-shot. Altaria also outspeeds, so a Sucker Punch is a one-shot. And finally is Flygon, but he also gets OHKO'd. Now this fight might have seemed easy, but if Druddigon picks the right moves or gets good ranges, he can KO me easily. Also, Hatterus is a range, so it took many tries to get a one-shot. I'm just happy that I didn't have to grind. Unfortunately, I can't say the same about the Water Gym. The trainers inside are strong enough to give lots of trouble and sometimes defeat me. I still try the Marlon fight, but Caracosta is way too tanky for me to defeat him, and a single Scald from any of his team members can leave me close to the red or straight up one-shot me. So I need more levels. Thankfully, the breeder close to the town gives a lot of experience, so it took almost no time to get to level 70. It took some tries and a bit of luck, but after some time, I got this run. First is Wailord. I set up a Howl while he sets up the rain, so the next turn, a single Crunch KOs him. Mantine comes out and thanks to the rain he outspeeds, so I go for Sucker Punch to get an OHKO. Caracosta is next. A Crunch does more than half, but he eats his berry and sets up with Shell Smash, so a Sucker Punch next turn KOs him. Finally is the Ace Jellicent, but he's weak to Dark type moves, so a Crunch OHKOs him, giving me the win without even getting hit once. The Cinsoline double battle after was a close one, but only because they used Confuse Ray and Bug type moves, and the single battle after was also no problem. The only thing of note is that I replaced Iron Tail for Dig in preparation for Colress. Speaking of, Colress fight. He leads with Magneton and I attack with Crunch for chip damage while he paralyzes me with Thunder Wave, raising my speed. Next turn, I use Dig and OHKO him. Afterwards is Magnet Zone. I use the same strategy of using Crunch and then Dig to avoid Sturdy and it works, but I also get hit by a Discharge that leaves Poochyena at a 5th. Next is Klinklang and it has an Air Balloon to avoid ground type moves, so I have to hit it first if I want to use Dig. I get a crit Crunch, but it doesn't even do half, so I go down. Unfortunately, there isn't any moves that I could learn that will help me, so the only option I have is to grind. I get to level 85 and get to Klinklang again. A Crunch does a third, and he uses Gear Shift to raise his attack and speed. I use Sucker Punch the next turn and get a lucky crit that KOs him. Next is Metang. I get paralyzed, so I miss a turn while he sets up an agility. I assumed he became faster, so I went for Sucker Punch, but he kept using agility. And on the turn that he didn't, I got paralyzed, so Poochyena was left with only 25 HP. Luckily next turn, a Sucker Punch defeats him. Finally is BHM, and a Crunch is enough to get a one-shot. It may have seemed easy, but I lost countless attempts to paralysis. The last fights of Team Plasma are Curem and Getsis, but neither of them were hard. Kyurem was a 2-shot, and every member of Getsy's team was a 1-shot except for Hydreigon, who missed 2 Dragon Rushes. So I got a lucky win there. Now, remember when I told you about how hard fighting the Durant on Victory Road was going to be? Well, he wasn't that bad. Just a dig and a Sucker Punch and he went down. However, the Ferrothorn that comes after can easily KO me with Power Whip, and I don't deal enough damage, so I decided to just go and get to level 100. It was going to happen eventually, so it's not that much of a problem. I also go and hunt all the rare candies around the region to save some time. After getting to level 100, I try again and defeat him just barely. To be fair, Ferrothorn has high physical defense and I only have a Poochyena. The hero fight after was nothing compared to the Ace Trainer. 1 crunch for Unpheasant, 3 crunches for Bouffalant after him healing, 1 crunch for Simipour, and 1 dig for Emboar. Like I said, pretty easy. Let's look at Poochyena's moves before the Elite Four. I honestly think that this is the best moveset that he can have. Dig to help with those that resist Dark type moves, Howl to raise his attack, Sucker Punch for priority, and Crunch for a reliable stab. I wish I could have access to the Elemental Fang moves, but this is the best I can do. Let's give it a go and see how far I can get. Chontol first. Cofagrigus goes down to Crunch, Golurk goes down to Crunch, Chandelure goes down to a Sucker Punch, Drifloon goes down to Crunch, and finally Banette goes down to a Sucker Punch. Easy fight. Caitlyn next. Poochyena is a 1-shot with Crunch. As for Reuniclus, I take the chance to set up a Howl, but he lands a Focus Blast that brings me all the way from full HP to 13 HP. I KO him the next turn with Crunch. For Metagross, I have to use Sucker Punch since he has a priority move as well. He gets easily KO'd. Sigilyph is a 1-shot with Crunch, and Gothitelle is also a 1-shot with Crunch. Third on the list is Grimsly. First is Liepard. He uses a normal gem boosted fake out to do a bit of damage. Next turn, I set up a Howl to raise my attack and he does a bit of damage with Aerial Ace. I go for Sucker Punch next turn, but miss as he went for Attract. I hit through however, so he went down the next turn. Absol is then a 1-shot with Dig, B-Sharp is a 1-shot with Dig, Scrafty is a 1-shot with Dig, and finally is Crocodile who lowers my attack back to normal. I use Crunch to do a bit under half and luckily get a defense drop, so even when he lowered my speed with Bulldoze, a Sucker Punch next turn KOs him. Finally is the Fighting type Elite Four Marshall. For this fight to work, I have to set up 4 Howls, get hit only 3 times by throw, so that means that I need a Rock Tomb to miss, and for him to never use Storm Throw. If all of that happens, I can 1-shot his throw with Sucker Punch, 1-shot his Mienshao, 1-shot his Conkeldurr, and 1-shot his Lucario. That one was actually a range. As for Sock, I have to use Crunch, since he has 30 to survive. He hits first with Brick Break and leaves Poochyena on its liver. Next turn, he heals and I land a Crunch again for sturdy. Finally, a Sucker Punch can win me the fight. I honestly thought that this is where the run will end. So let's see if we can defeat the champion Iris. First is her Hydreigon and I send Poochyena. I start setting up a Howl while she misses a Focus Blast. A Crunch next turn does half and she misses Focus Blast again. Another Crunch can then KO her. Next is Druddigon, but a single Crunch OHKOs her. Afterwards is Hatsurus. A Crunch doesn't KO her thanks to her Focus Sash, but she only used Dragon Dance, so when she tried to heal, another Crunch OHKO'd her. Aggron comes out, so I use Dig while she sets up an Autotomize to raise her speed. She tried to hit me while I was underground with Head Smash, but it obviously missed, so when I came out with Dig, she gets OHKO'd. Lapras is next and a single Crunch OHKOs her. Finally is Archeops, and she might outspeed, so I don't risk it and go for Sucker Punch to get a final OHKO, defeating Iris and giving the crown to Poochyena. I'll be honest, Poochyena was way weaker than what I expected, but I guess that was because I got used to the power of the Unova starters. The start of the run was pretty brutal. It wasn't all bad though. With each gym, the grinds got better and better, and to my surprise, I not only beat Marshall, but I even managed to become champion. I know the Elite Four fights might have seemed boring or even easy, but those battles were get a 1-shot or get 1-shot, so there's nothing I could do about that. For next time, and I'm really excited about this, I'm going to be stepping out of Unova for a bit and go all the way to Kanto, as I'll try to beat Pokemon Red without using any items. Yes, this even includes Pokeballs, so no HM slaves. I can't wait to see how this goes, as I'll be very limited on my options for team members and movesets. If you want to see more of my content, you can check my Shining Professor Oak Challenge playlist, that's on screen. Or, if you want to see something more like what you just watched, you can check the Solo Rounds playlist, that's also on screen. Anyways, that's all I have for now. See ya!